Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about journals and if you like to use them slowly or if you like to use them a long time. That's from some movie, which I don't even know what it was, but yeah. Alright, so this is my stack of journals from this year. This one was from part of last year and then part of this year, so yeah. And then my current journal is in another room, which is pretty much in China right now. So yeah, these are the journals for this year, and there's my stack. I have a thing for stacks of journals. They just look cool, like stacked up. I don't know why. And I've always been into that. I've like used to Google or like Flickr image to find like stacks of moleskins, like the uniformity of that was kind of cool. And just like stacks of journal collections in general. It's fun to see like the random combination of journals that people tend to use. But anyway, these are mine from this year and part of last year. But yeah, as far as using them slowly or longly, that's not even a word, but whatever, we're going with it. Longly, long time. Yeah, I tend to, I don't know, I get in comments like, you fill them fast. And I've seen people fill them faster than me, but a lot fill them more slowly, and they kind of include more like highlights of their life. But I definitely prefer using them kind of quicker. I like to include everything from my life. So like, you know, I went to sleep at, okay, what is even happening outside? Like they drilling something, there's a train, and like a bird. There's always like loud noises when I try to film a video. It's like perfectly quiet the rest of the time. Seriously, what on earth are they doing? Anyway, okay, I'll try to talk louder. So, yeah, I like to be able to include everything, like, you know, what I did that day. You know, sometimes I'll write like, I went to the store, I, you know, texted with like a friend about such and such. Like if they said something funny, I like to include that sort of thing sometimes. You know, I'll write stuff like, oh, my leg is hairy, and then I'll write like what I'm watching on TV, or, you know, like, and then it'll end up evolving into like, what's the meaning of life sometimes. But, you know, I just like random writing like that. This journal is mostly writing. Sometimes I like to collage, and that fills up journals pretty quick when you collage. I haven't felt like collaging much much this year. Earlier in the year I collaged some, but I haven't really since the spring, I guess. But yeah, that sort of thing, like the stuff I like to include like that. I like to include like lists of recent songs I like, movies I like, and that kind of thing. That definitely fills up journals pretty quick. I think it would be really cool to have like, say, this journal, and it took up like 10 years of my life, so I could see kind of more of a summary of life and have like more meaningful stuff in there. But it takes me writing, you know, like, I went to the store, my legs are hairy, to get into the more meaningful stuff and to get in the habit of writing it all. I've literally written my legs are hairy in journals before, or just like observations like, the walls are shiny. Actually, I guess they're not shiny, they're dirty, which is really bizarre. The walls are like, I've been noticing how much dirt are on it. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I do like to fill them reasonably quick. There's, you know, up to an extent though. This journal didn't take all that long. This one took from like okay, March 28th through the April 15th. So this one is, how long is that? Like almost 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. This one I filled pretty quick because the paper like smelled weird and the texture bothered me, and it was too bleach white. And the cover's really fun. I've been wanting a tie-dye journal for a really long time, so I'm glad I had this one, but I was glad to finish it just because of the paper. But I don't think I'd want a journal filled that quickly, like all the time, like this for a few weeks of life. That would kind of take up a lot of space, and, you know, I wouldn't remember this journal in a decade. I probably wouldn't remember like, oh yeah, back in April 2015 I had this journal, and like actually remember anything about it. So that this is like too quick for me. But the speed of this one is more my thing. This one took about 2.5 months, I think. It was from June 24th through like September 10th-ish. So that was 2.5 months. So like this has a reasonable amount of life in it, like enough, you know, daily life stuff, but also like enough meaningful, important stuff to where I'd probably remember this journal, maybe, or at least like more likely than just a few weeks. And this one has enough, I mean, it has like mostly writing. I didn't really feel like collaging here, so it's got enough content that I'd actually care more about this journal, whereas like a few weeks of my life isn't you know, it's interesting enough, but like I wouldn't want every single journal to be this quick. So like 2.5 months for this size writing, you know, is enough for me, but you know, a few weeks is a bit much. If you do fill journals every few weeks, like if you have an art journal or something, it just takes up a lot of space, like that's cool. I just didn't, I couldn't include enough in this because it was kind of small, and you know, it's only this thickness, so it was short, and it, you know, I didn't really, I actually collaged a little in here, but like, you know, there's just not enough content in this size journal for me. If I use this kind of journal and I only highlighted like the important stuff in life, or like the stuff that really mattered to me, and like kind of condensed it, you know, then maybe a few weeks would do it for me. But pretty much like a few months of a journal is kind of my ideal length. That sounds weird, but my ideal length of writing. Like I like them to have about 2 or 3 months, you know, that is enough content where I'd probably remember the journal later, and it just is enough to show enough of my life in it, so it's not just like a short time, like, you know, something like this tiny and this quick, you know, I could just write about, I don't know, like it might be, I don't know, like a bad few weeks or something, and then it would only have that in there. But it's something that lasts a few months, like then it can include like the ups and downs of life, and you know, more than just like one project that you're doing for school or work. Like it has enough content. The other journals I've used are, this one was from October 5th through the end of, I think it was the end of, well, yeah, like the middle of February, but I included part of January and this one, like the first week of the year. I didn't want to carry this journal around the city because I didn't want to lose it, since it was like, you know, more than half full or whatever. So this one was blank the first week of January, and I wanted to go sightseeing and do a bunch of stuff around the city. So I used this one for like a week in January, and then went back to this one to finish it, and then used this one again. So it's kind of confusing, but yeah, this leopard print one I used from, well, like the first week of January, and then I came back to it like January 19th, and then I used it through the, well, it's got collaged in the back, so I'm not entirely, like there's not a specific, I didn't put a date on those, but like through the end of March, or like the first few days of January. So this has like a good amount of my life, like included enough about, you know, my daily life, and like some activities that I did, like some sightseeing and stuff like that. And it was long enough to be able to remember this journal and feel like I knew it, and I don't actually know how to explain that. I feel like I knew it and feel like I would remember it enough to enjoy it, but not using it long enough that I get sick of it. Like this one, I actually whack out half the pages. I didn't want it that thick, but yeah, this journal, I got sick of the flowers, and I used this for like, I think it was 2.5 months, I guess. It was from April 16th through, what is that, June 23rd. And this one just felt like it was taking forever, and I got sick of it. So I whacked out half the pages. So like 2 or 3 months, I can use a journal. I feel like I know it well enough and I'll remember it later. If I look back on it in like 10 years, I would still remember that I actually ever had this journal, probably. Maybe. But, you know, greater chance in a few weeks. So I'd probably remember this journal, but like, you know, 6 months, if I was trying to use one journal, I'd probably just get completely sick of it. New journals are fun, since, you know, I like new patterns, and decorating a new journal, that's always fun. And it kind of keeps me more interested in writing. And have I shown you all the dates on these? Yeah, I think a few months is like my normal time span of a journal. A few weeks is just kind of too quick for me for this amount of space. But, you know, some people, if you like to film in a week, that's cool. I think it would be cool to have one of these that had like 10 years worth of life, and the, you know, the more eventful stuff, and kind of summarize life better. But when you have something like this size that lasts like a decade, you know, you miss out on a lot of the daily life occurrences and some of the conversations that are funny that you can include otherwise, or the recent playlists and that kind of thing. So, you know, 10 years for one journal wouldn't do it for me, but it would be really cool to look back on later. You know, be quicker, and you could see more you know, more of the big stuff instead of having to be like, okay, I want to look at my journals for 2015. Oh, there we go. And it's like, I don't know, I'll probably have, well, there's these 5, like one of them was from part of last year, but these 5, my current one, maybe one more, so I'd probably have like 6 or 7 from this year. And if I want to look at, you know, 10 years of my life, that's probably going to be like 50 journals, maybe more at this rate. So it does take up more space, but even 10 years of my, well, not 10, 9 years of my daily journaling has like, they all fit in one storage box, and you know, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space compared to the other stuff we have in life, like purses or clothes or a lot of collections. Unless you collect stamps. Stamps would be a really tiny collection, but you know, most stuff we collect would take up more space than even like all, you know, all the journals I have now. So it's not too like space consuming. It's just if I wanted to look through them all, like I can't just be like, let me look at my, you know, my lifetime of memories and like, here's my book. I have to, you know, take out like a storage trunk. So yeah, looking back on them, like it would be nice to have less, but filling them, I like to include anything and everything, and that usually means that these take a few months for me, and that's kind of like my standard time. But yeah, let me know if you have a journal that's like, you know, years or decades of your life all in one. That'd be kind of cool. Or, you know, if you fill them faster, and I don't know what you prefer, like do it long time or short time. What movie is that from? It's like something about doing a long time, but I don't know. Let me know if you prefer them quicker, slower. I saw one person do like one a year, and it was the same exact brand of journal, and each one had like the year on it, and they were like different flower patterns. I thought that was really cool. She'd done it for like 25 years or something. It's like a really, really long time, all the same exact style, and one per year. I think that would be really cool. I just don't think I could like tone it down to one a year. I also like put it, you know, in a new journal, since like if, you know, if there's like a rough few months, I don't like to use the same journal from that. Like I wouldn't, like this journal I got sick of using. That was a rough few months. I just wanted to like, you know, have a new journal and a new start, I guess. But if I did have a journal that was, you know, already had years worth of life, it wouldn't necessarily remind me of that rough patch, I guess. I don't know, I guess I kind of collage or write a bit too much to really be able to have years of life. Like, I don't know, even the big brown journal I have would probably be like this thickness, so maybe, I guess I could maybe do like 2 of those super thick ones a year. Collaging kind of puffs them up, like this is kind of puffy. But yeah, I'm gonna go see if they're like destroying the street or what's happening outside, and yeah, let me know your journal preference, and if you like to see stacks of journals too. For some reason, I've always liked seeing them. I don't know. And stacks of books don't really do it for me, so sometimes I do. But you know, stacks of just like, I guess it's just like seeing the different styles that people like, and just wanting to touch them and see what memories people like included in there or wrote about. Okay, my grammar's trying to crap. I'm gonna leave it at that. Bye.